say there is a chance that we can make it so far. We stop believing now we can be who we are. Greece is the word that you heard. It's got groove, it's got meaning.
Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Live with Kim. I am always so excited to be here. I think we have a really good topic today. So, the topic is, are Gigtubers to be blamed for DoorDash oversaturation? And, before we even get into the topic of today, I just want to put a disclaimer out there that I am mainly going to be talking about myself as a YouTuber. This is not a bashing session. I do not bash people. I do not talk badly about people. It is really about talking about me and my experience with DoorDash, and also a YouTuber as well. So I'm just going to put that disclaimer out there as well. But wow. So I am just here with you guys tonight. I am going to have a whole bunch of, fun things to talk about. Please feel free to chat in the chat amongst yourselves. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them up. I will be more than happy to. Oh, Cray, how are you? I am just so happy to put up any questions, any comments that you guys have. I can try to get to as many as I possibly can as I am talking through this topic tonight. It's been I feel like I have a couple of updates to really share with you guys. So I am now on Twitter, or X, so you guys can now find me there as well. I am on Facebook now, and I am officially now have my own podcast. So that's kind of the really exciting, updates of the channel and also myself. So if you can go check out my new podcast, it can be now found on Spotify and I believe on Google. The link is in the description of this live, so you can go check it out. But speaking of podcasts, so one of a really good friend of mine and the shows, he's also a content creator, Jason Tiaria. He also has an amazing podcast, and I'm actually gonna put it up. It's called the Gig Economy Podcast. So if you guys are out and you're driving and you I personally love listening to podcasts as I'm driving, because I feel like I can still pay attention to the roads, but still enjoy listening to stuff. But he has, and he also has another member to his team. They do a podcast every Wednesdays, I believe. And, they are entertainment podcast, really focused on like the fun and lightheartedness of this gig economy. They talk tips, they talk trips, they talk about maximizing your earnings. So just another podcast to go check them out. Once again, the link to his podcast is also in the description of this video. Of this live as well. So I definitely recommend his podcast. Go check him out. So a whole bunch of fun and exciting things that have really been happening. So those are kind of the updates to my channel. So hello everybody in the chat as everybody is coming in here. It's good to see a whole bunch of familiar faces. I know I've been gone for a little while and I am back. Just to give you an update on the live, it might be every week, it might not be every other week. I'm still trying to work out the logistics of this live, but I am just excited to be here with you guys on Tuesday. So with that being said, are you too? So you guys are going to have to let me know. I know it is a very big statement. So before we even get started, tell me right now in the chat, do you think, and you guys all watch a whole bunch of YouTubers, I know you guys do you think that YouTubers are a lot of the cause of oversaturation in some of the markets that are out there in the US and even in the world if you're listening to us from, a different country? So let me know, do you think YouTubers are to blame for some of DoorDash's oversaturation? I'm going to go you guys can leave it in the chat. So yes or no, go ahead. Don't be shy. Put it in the chat amongst yourselves as I, grab my Dr. Pepper. That still hasn't changed. Nobody's responding. Come on. Where are you guys at? Where are you guys at tonight? Where's my lively where's my lively group? Okay. So, Jonathan, you said GigTube killed the gig worker. I don't know about gig worker. I'm just talking about oversaturation. So, no. Uh, and also, I'll bring in no for you as well. Okay, well, that's good to know. So, here is, and you're going to have to kind of stick with me for a little bit of this because I'm going to give you guys some of my own personal stories and a couple of stories that I've had in like my own market and kind of what's led me to do this topic tonight all together. So yeah. So when you talk about oversaturation, so you guys are going to have to let me know in the chat as well. So do you see slowdowns happening? Do you see no orders coming to your phone? Do you see an overabundance of drivers in your own areas? No money coming in. You can go minutes without orders. Um, or there's just not enough orders to go around for all those drivers that are in your area. Does anybody else feel that pain? Because what I am describing right now is really a lot of my own area. And I always feel like if I'm feeling it, a lot of people are feeling it as well. And we're all feeling that pinch right now. So, you know, when you think about YouTube, like why do you use YouTube? Besides gig work and besides watching, Gigtubers, why do you personally use YouTube? Go ahead, put it in the chat right now. Why do you use YouTube? Thank you so much, Christopher. Much appreciated. So Thomas, you say tons of new drivers. Yeah, in my market there is definitely a ton of new drivers. So anybody else want to chime in on why you use YouTube? So I use YouTube personally when I want to know something, right? So that's like my go-to. So just a real quick story is, you know, being a homeowner, right? Something goes wrong in your house. What do? Like I turned to YouTube the other week, all of a sudden my toilet stopped working and I'm like, I need to fix this and I need to fix this fast. So I went to YouTube and I literally I just typed in how to fix, what was wrong with my toilet and a whole bunch of stuff popped up. Taught me how to do it. I felt confident that me and my husband can do it. So we got all the parts that we needed and we watched the YouTube video probably about 100 times before we attempted it ourselves. But lo and behold, our toilet got fixed all because of YouTube. But thank you, Christopher. I really, really appreciate it. You are too kind yourself. Um, so where am I going with this is, when you think of people who watch, even myself, is how many people look at YouTubers and think, okay, I really want to learn how to do DoorDash. I really want to learn how to do this. But there are people who watch us with not the best intentions in the entire world. And we're going to get into why I think this is really causing the oversaturation in some of my markets. When I first started my YouTube channel, and I started my YouTube channel back in 2020. So what, a little over 3 years ago, well, almost over 3 years ago, somewhere around there. So I started it because I figured if I'm going out there working every day, you know what? There's people who probably want to be motivated. So my first thought is I just want to motivate people to go out and make money. And if I can teach them things along the way, if we can get excited about the money we make, if we can, just share our knowledge, like that's the whole entire reason of why I started my YouTube channel and why I continue it to this day. So when if you go through my entire YouTube channel from the very start, which if you want a good luck, you can go all the way back to the beginning. Is, I have over 1,000 ride-alongs. Can you believe that? Like over literally 1,000 ride-alongs. And, I was just putting out knowledge that I had. And, if any day that I had, whether it was a bad day, whether it was a good day, like I shared the reel, I shared the orders I took, I shared the orders I didn't take, I shared my totals at the beginning of every single day. And then I also shared my totals at the end of the week to really like my whole entire point was to get people motivated. And even though my intentions were really good as me as a YouTuber, were they hitting the wrong audience, so to speak? And, now that I am looking back on my journey and what I even did as myself as a YouTuber, you know, oh my god, I opened myself and my area that I work in because if you look at my ride-alongs, back in the day, I was just showing every restaurant I was going into. I was sharing, the streets I was driving in. Like I was an open book for literally anybody and everybody to see. Granted, my videos weren't reaching millions of people, but if someone just like I was searching, for my toilet to get fixed, but as I was searching, anybody who is searching out there in the world for DoorDash information, hopefully you found me along the way or found other YouTubers, but we're literally showing it's almost like a entryway into our own areas and our own lives. And if you really want to learn where to go make money, well, I'm gonna go watch Kim because she's making X amount of money. Oh, what area is she in? Let me figure it out. And I'm gonna go to her area to see if I can find more money or make the money that she's making. And I think what a lot of times is, I would like to think, and you can put yourself in your own shoes because I personally now have over 11,000 DoorDash deliveries. I have over 20,000 deliveries between all my 16 apps that I have out there. I feel like I lost track after a while just because Grubhub, you can't even track how many deliveries you've done. But, when you think about everything that we've gone through or all the deliveries that we've taken, I would like to think I have a really decent knowledge on the gig economy. And, you know, with knowledge comes power, but am I sharing too much knowledge? And I really believe that now when I look at my own area, I'll say I was because I'm going to go into, kind of the future of what my own channel looks like. But when you really think about it, I just keep shaking my own head because I'm looking at my area, where I normally used to deliver in. I no longer pick up and deliver in. I have gone to a completely different area. So everybody who knew me for an area I used to work in, I no longer work in the area and I'm a completely different part of New Jersey. So if anybody asks, where I am from or where I deliver in New Jersey. That is really the broadness of what I'm kind of getting myself into because and I think this really opened my eyes. And this happened really a couple of months ago, and you guys are going to have to let me know in the comments or even in chat your own experiences. And has anybody ever asked you for advice as a driver, whether it's another driver, even a restaurant? Has anybody ever asked you for advice? Go ahead, put it in the chat right now, and let's get that conversation started. So, cray cray, you are asked advice frequently. Well, that's good. That means that they know that you're an experienced driver. Anybody else get asked advice from drivers? I know I shared an experience with a driver who shared with me last week. They shared their metrics, and oh, it was eye opening. I don't even know how they were on the platform, but that's an you can go check out last week's live if you want to get the full lowdown on that story. Yeah. I am, like I said, I am not in the same area that I used to. So Tony, you said yes as well. So the reason why I'm asking this is because I'm going to give you two different stories. So one is a good story, and one is like a story that's going to make you go, pause for just like a half a second. So I'll talk to you about my good story. So obviously, I love my merchants. I have literally, now that I've done DoorDash for um God, how many years now? I don't even know. Full time now, 4 or 5 years. Regular. I've been in the gig economy now 6 or 7 years. Wow, has it really been that long? But I guess that it has. Hey, Bud Soda, how are you? Welcome. But anyway, so getting to know your merchants, I always preach it. Been preaching it since the beginning of time. But I would like to think that I know a lot of my merchants. They know me by name, and one of the merchants that I work in, one of the girls behind the counter started asking me. She knows I had a YouTube channel. She just really started asking me about DoorDash, and she wanted to get into it, and I gave her advice on how to start and what to do and really how to become a pro really quickly. And ever since then, she does it part time and she loves it. And, it has been fulfilling to help out another fellow driver get on the platform and have as much fun with it that I do. So that's the good story. So the bad story is, so this was a couple of months ago, and I'm sitting in my car and I'm on my phone because I'm waiting on an order, and I hear a knock on my window, and I'm like, "What?" So I look over, and it wasn't the driver's side window, it was the passenger window. And I'm like, and I roll down, and they recognized me, and I love seeing people who recognize me. It's probably one of my favorite things of what I do, especially when I'm out working. And they wanted advice because they told me that they always see me with bigger bags, and how do they get more money to get the bigger orders? And I'm sorry, I don't share, I hate to say, I don't share insider information. I will help you get on the platform. I will help you do that. But I feel like that's sharing insider information, right? So, I was kind, and as I always am, and polite, and I told them to show me their metrics, and went over the metrics and did like the small stuff that I knew that could potentially help them. But I wasn't going to share all my secrets in my area. And he was extremely grateful and really super nice. And we had to use a translator app a couple of times just because there was a little bit of a language barrier. But because of that, now I had other people coming up to me asking me the same exact thing. And this is kind of what sparks like the whole entire thing. So I guess my whole entire thing, and I've talked about this before, and the oversaturation, even in my own area, is, and you guys are going to have to let me know, are you experiencing this in your, and I saw, Jonathan, you kind of hit it right on the head. So I've been experiencing illegal accounts. I've been experiencing, fake accounts. I've been experiencing my area drivers who have like 3 or even 4 phones. And I I can't remember when I did the video on this, so forgive me. I can't remember, but it was a couple months ago. And it's literally, one of the questions I got asked a lot was, how do you know this is happening in your own market? And for me, it's just plain observations. Maybe because I work 40 to 50 hours every week in my own area, I really understand what's going on in my own market. I might not have first, like the first week that I was noticing it, I I'm like, what's going on? And what's been happening, what happened in my market, and this, and obviously you guys know I'm in New Jersey. And like literally where I was working, small town, and all of a sudden I started seeing an abnormally amount of New York license plates. I'm like, why are there so many New York license plates all of a sudden in my own area? And they were all driving the same type of car. Like, what is going on? And then once I noticed the New York license plate numbers, I then started seeing that they were drivers because they were going into restaurants. I'm like, "Ah, that's weird. Why are so many New York drivers coming into New Jersey?" So that was week number 1 and probably week number 2. So by like the third week, now I'm starting to see Pennsylvania license plates all over my area. And after observing even more, and I observe when I'm sitting around waiting on orders, because what more is there really to do as you're waiting besides playing on your phone? But I feel I like to people watch. Maybe that's just me. So I noticed then, in the weeks I was observing all of this, I was looking for one driver would be driving a different car almost every single day. And on top of that, they would one day have a Pennsylvania license plate. The next day, they would have a New York license plate. Then they would go back to a New Jersey license. I'm like, what is going on? And that's when I really started doing the research. But the thing that I found out, at least in my own area, is they work in groups. And I think this is where the oversaturation comes from. It's because they work in groups of people. They try to monopolize a lot of markets, and they try to take a lot of orders in the markets by taking every single order. So hopefully, if this is happening in your own market, like light bells or light bulbs might be going off right now, because you're like, oh my God, that's totally happening to me in my market. I understand what you're going through. And a lot of people, when I talk about this, usually go, that's what's happening. So let me know in the chat or even the comment section, have you been noticing this in your own area? So this is all going to circle back right now to the beginning of my conversation. Is now I have 50 to 100 new drivers in my small area that I never had before. So now there's like all this new competition, and everybody's like vying for these orders and trying to get orders. And now orders are even hard to come by. And then I point to myself and thinking, how did they know to come to my little unknown town in New Jersey? And I just kept pondering that. So think about that just for a little second. I'm going to acknowledge a couple of people. So Thomas, thank you so much. Yeah, too many bot accounts. I agree. I agree. It's definitely an issue, and we'll get into what I think DoorDash needs to do, but I'm not DoorDash. But there's a lot of things that they could be doing that they're not doing right now. And oh my God, Cray, thank you so very much. Ah, you're too kind. You guys are too kind to me. Thank you. And thank you for gifting the memberships. Um, so so why do so do you think that they figured out how do you think that they figured out to come to my my small town in New Jersey? How do you think that they figured that out? How did 50 to 100 drivers just figure out how to come to my own small town in New Jersey? Can you guys figure that out? It's okay. It's okay to say it because you know what? Taking I am taking full responsibility for this. And I'm hoping, you know, by me taking responsibility, and I'm also going to take actions, which we're going to about in just a little bit. Yeah. I'm like, I honestly, and I have no proof behind it, but I will take full ownership of it. Who's to say that they didn't stumble upon my YouTube channel one day? Because what do you do when you're trying to research how to make money? What areas to go to? You turn to YouTube. And yeah, I think that's really what happened in my own market. I think honestly, I oversaturated the market I used to work in. And I'm going to say this again, I do not work in that market any longer because I'm not going to not make money because of other drivers trying to monopolize, wow, that's not English, monopolize my own area. So, Steve, how are you? Um, so it's very interesting, I think, when it comes to this. And those were kind of my thoughts when I was literally putting this all together. So when I now it really honestly had me taking a step back and thinking, what can I do to make things better for myself and also for my own community, right? So it's just not me that's in my own market. There are still drivers just like me trying to make money and now fighting for orders coming into everywhere. It's to me it's just absolutely insane. And if it's happening to me, once again, it's happening in other markets. So, kind of going back to, I gave you guys in the beginning of this live, the updates of, my own channel and, um, now on Twitter, now have a podcast, now on Facebook. So go check them all out. But anyway, you know, after doing thousands of ride alongs, I started this past week. If you guys haven't done it, go check them out. Almost a year. Yes. Yes, Bud Soda. Almost a year of kindness is free. Can you believe it? Can't believe it. Thank you, Bud Soda. Um, so this week I started giving you guys little snippets of orders that I've been taking while I'm out working on the road. And you guys let me know right now. Do you guys did if you guys saw it, do you guys like it? Give it a thumbs up or give it a thumbs down. It's okay if you give it a thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down. Just so I know if I'm going in the right direction or not. With the content that I've been putting out, I figure I would mix it up. But the reason why I'm talking about this because going forward is I'm not showing restaurants anymore. I'm not showing the restaurants that I am picking up from or the restaurants on the order. I am not showing any information pertaining to the area that I am working in. To me, the biggest thing of what we do. Um, Thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Um, the biggest thing to me when I'm trying to talk about an order is how much is it? What are the miles? And if the item counts are important to the order, then obviously the payout in the end. People don't have to know where I work. They don't have to know where I pick up from. Um, I just think going forward for my own oversaturation of my own market, now that I am working in a completely different area, I'm keeping things to myself and I'm sharing with you guys the most important parts of what we do. So, thank you. Yeah, can you believe that? I was like literally so I've had this whole concept for you guys about going and while I'm out here, you know what, I'm just gonna kind of like, to me, the fun of it, right, especially with DoorDash, is figuring out the hidden tip. First of all, why does DoorDash hide hidden tips? I think we'll never figure out that mystery all together. I mean, god, I had a 5-cent hidden tip the other day. That's in a video too if you want to go check it out. Anyway, in this particular case, I just felt like, you know what? Let's figure it out together. Let's guess it together. Let's see what it ends up being. And the second one that I actually just dropped, I think it was today. Yeah, it was today. It was this morning. Was I was having a string of bad luck, and it was orders after orders that had larger that so supposedly should have had larger subtotals, and it ended up being like under $10. And like it got to the point where I'm like, DoorDash, really? If you give me another one, I'm just literally gonna call it quits and go home because it's just luck is just not on my side tonight. And yeah, that order came up for $12.75, and I haven't seen sorry, I haven't seen a payout like that in I can't even tell you how long. So it was definitely a pleasant surprise. And I'm like, oh, maybe DoorDash might be finally making a comeback for me now that I've swapped in a completely different area. Maybe that's working towards my advantage. How many deliveries how many DoorDash deliveries do I have? Okay. So here's the moment of truth. So you guys know that it really is me. I don't normally do this just because I don't like to share info, but since I have you guys as my audience, you guys are going to get special. Okay, can you guys see that? Oops, sorry. There we go. Oh, I'm crooked. 11,542 DoorDash deliveries. That is how many that I currently have. Going up per day. There we go. So so yeah, so oversaturation. So you had a $50 plus hidden tip. So, Sarah, did that come through as an offer for $50 plus and then there was a hidden tip? Because I think I would have like, did you like just hit the accept button as quickly as you possibly can, thinking that it would go away the next second? That's awesome. Congratulations. Oh, 20 cents. Sorry, I misunderstood you. 20 cents was hidden. I don't understand. I feel like I can go on a tirade all about hidden tips because I think some of these tips are just absolutely insanely ridiculous. Like 5 cents. My 5 cents. Why what is the need for a 5-cent hidden tip? Can anybody explain that? Ugh. Ah, Thomas, you are too kind. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Turns into 65. That's awesome. I love hearing stories. So, anytime you guys have some amazing stories, you can always share them with me. I'm on Instagram. You can message me on Instagram. I just love hearing some pretty awesome stories, which is, it kind of comes full circle, right? So, I am literally, I just love motivating you guys. You guys motivate me. Like I said, I get questions a lot. Am I still a full-time driver? Do I still go out and drive? I am still working 40 to 50 hours a week, and then I still do YouTube. I still do everything that I need to do. My hustle has not changed since the day that I really started my YouTube channel. It is still there. But yeah. So anyway, going back to, oversaturation, you know, and going back to looking forward to the future of what. So you won't see any restaurants in any one of my orders. You won't see restaurant names. You won't see street signs. And you won't see the area I work in. So those are kind of my go forwards going through. So, hopefully this helps me in my own area. You know, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do or what not to do. I know I have a public voice, um, but I'm now cautious of the information I give out. And, I really want to help as many drivers as I possibly can who have the best intentions of going out and doing the hustle like everybody else and working the system correctly, if I am saying that, if I'm saying that correctly as well. Oh, Steve, thank you so much. You guys are so amazing. Thank you. Um, yeah. So once again, if you were just coming here and just, watching it for the very first time and missed the beginning of this, try it once more in the chat because I know a couple of you guys are coming in just now. Let me know once again, are you seeing oversaturation in your own markets? And I'm going to say one more thing. And, and we're going to get into, I always like to talk about the problem and then also, you know, the solutions as well, besides me going to a completely different area and learning a different area of my own. And hopefully, I don't know whether DoorDash will ever listen to this. Oh my God, you guys. Oh my goodness. Christopher, thank you so much. You guys are so incredible and so incredibly kind. Oh my God. Just real quick, also, you probably there's a couple of you guys who probably saw it today. I'm hopefully going to do this forward is I'm starting to release my videos as an early access to members. I started that today. So, if I do have videos come out, members will get actually access to them earlier than usually the drop time that I do for my normal videos. So that is going forward as well. Yeah. Oversaturation 100 times here. So Steve, so let me know. So, and I wish you can come on here right now. Do you think you have caused a little bit of oversaturation, or do you think, sorry, something just fell in my house. I'm sorry. I was just watching it fall. I hung a new picture in my house today and I used one of those 3 millimeter hooks and I literally just saw the thing just sliding down my wall. Sorry. Sorry for the big crash you guys just heard. So Steve, do you think that YouTubers anybody else out there, do you think YouTubers are to blame for some of the oversaturation happening in some of the markets? But yeah. Okay. So anyway, solutions. So DoorDash. I'm talking to you. So come a little closer, DoorDash. Hopefully you watch this. I don't know whether DoorDash watches these things, but hope they do. I understand DoorDash wants to get the orders delivered. And I said this before. That something needs to get done about some of these accounts that are shared. And just another quick story, real quick. And I know I'm going a little off topic, but don't think. Oh, let me just let me finish addressing DoorDash. DoorDash, you need to do something. The biometric scan I've done once in the past, I think 7 months now. That's the last time I did a biometric scan. Have you guys done a biometric scan lately for DoorDash? When was the last time you guys did one? There has to be a solution to the stuff that is happening in the DoorDash world because it's hurting the drivers who want to do this honestly and who want to go out and make money. And to me, it's a big issue. But as drivers, what can you do? So you can obviously go to different areas that aren't oversaturated like I did. The one thing that has really helped me is learn different niches that many of these bot or illegal accounts can't get into or can't even have a hard time doing. Shop and pays have been literally my saving grace these past couple of days, weeks, months. Shop and pays. Whether it's Instacart or even Shop and Pays on DoorDash or even Uber Eats, like they have literally have been a lot of the money I've been making on a lot of these apps lately. And it seems like to me, that's the direction I've been going because it seems like it hasn't really affected the other side, the bad side of the things that we're doing. So anyway, hold on. I'll go into my story about a merchant as soon as I'm done with that. So, Steve, you spoke to Kim Kevin today. She was saying that by the end of August, illegal debit cards will stop being funded. Oh, that's good news to hear. So anyway, okay, so going back to the story real quick. And this is kind of probably where I'll will somewhat end things tonight. Don't think that merchants don't know what's going on because they do. I went into one of my local places because it was pouring rain and I wasn't going to travel to the new area that I'm working. So I'm like, okay, I'll stay local. And I walk in and this poor girl, and she is the sweetest person ever, tough as nails, but sweetest person ever. And she's like, "Kim, you just missed it. I had like the worst 2 hours I've ever had doing this." And I said, "Oh my God, what happened?" She goes, "We got bombarded. And if one more driver just takes their phone and shoves it in my face, I'm going to take their phone, snap it in half, and throw it across the store." And I'm like, "It was really that bad?" She goes, "It was that bad." And she goes, "And to make it even worse," she goes, "I had a driver completely banned from my restaurant because they decided to go behind the counter where we keep the orders and decided to help themselves to a counter." So then we got talking about drivers and the etiquette of drivers. And she tells me, she goes, "Don't think merchants don't know what's going on." She goes, "We know when Kim comes is on the order screen and Bob shows up, there's definitely a disconnect that's happening out there." And she goes, "Unfortunately, sometimes we get too busy and we forget to go back to the tablet to report it." She goes, "But when we can, we do report it." So there are some decent merchants out there that do help out drivers and do help out the platform. Now, whether DoorDash does something, she does say though, every time she reports a driver, she never sees that driver again. So it has hope for me. At least I would like to think that it has hope for me out in the world of DoorDash. And hopefully between the merchants and DoorDash, please, if you're listening to this, please, please, please listen to this and do something about it. I'm just saying. Ah, yeah. Okay, so Cray Cray, you agree with me. You're doing great on Instacart. Sorry, I'm telling you, sorry, Steve. I did a $64 batch the other day. It took me an hour and a half. It was 3 shops, and in an hour and a half, I had $65. It's sometimes better especially in the mornings or even early afternoons than I can even do on DoorDash. So Instacart has been actually, knock on wood, doing okay for me lately. So, uh, interesting. So, Christopher, you haven't seen this in your area yet. You can come to my area and I can I can share it with I can share the wealth for you. It's funny because when I was talking to Zach Drives Fast and we did a show, we touched on this a little bit on a show, and he's just like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and we almost didn't cover it. I'm like, it's a big issue, and he didn't have it in his market, but now he's slowly starting to see it in his market as well. So it's slowly becoming an issue everywhere, unfortunately. Hey Rick, Kim, do you do catering apps like Delivered or Deliver That or Pairworks? I do all three of them. I love doing catering apps now that they're available in my own market. I couldn't get on them for a while because they weren't available here for whatever reason. I could not understand. I'm in the tri-state area. And they just weren't available, but no. Um, but yes, now that I do all three now. So anyway, so that is my merchant story for you guys. Have you guys had any merchants actually tell you? Let me know in the comments or in the chat. Have you guys ever had any merchants tell you that they've banned a driver before, or they've noticed stuff that has been happening in your own area? To me, that was a real eye-opening experience for me, because to me, you always think merchants just don't really do anything about it. You feel like you're fighting the fight with the own drivers. And it was really nice to see in my own areas that I really did have a merchant that is paying attention. And if one merchant pays attention, there might be other merchants that are still paying attention, just like this nice young lady I was talking to did. So anyway, with that being said, I am wrapping it up for tonight. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. Once again, if you have a moment, go check out the Gig Economy podcast with Jason Thierry. He just announced a new host this past week. So we're excited to get to know his new host, but really good listening as you are driving around. You can also listen to my podcast as well, which is on Spotify and also Google. That will be in the description. Both will be in the description of this video. Don't forget to join me again here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Zach and I, and also it's on Zach's channel as well. We have a new show called How We Hustle. We're doing it every other week. So we did our first episode 2 weeks ago. This week it's going to, I feel like we're gonna have some really good discussions and a lot of debating back and forth. So please join us tomorrow night at 9 p.m. because it's gonna be a show you are not going to want to miss. And I am so excited to be doing it with him on both of our channels. So definitely check us out tomorrow night at 9 p.m. So, with that being said, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody who is listening. Don't forget to leave a comment before you leave tonight. Don't forget to give this live a thumbs up. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. With that being said, I will be back again on a Tuesday sometime soon. And guys, if you're driving, please stay safe. Remember, kindness is always free. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video or in the next live. Bye, everyone. Peace out.